Hello everyone, Mike Rempel from Another Set of Eyes with today's Excel Bytes blog post. Today we're just going to show you a couple of tips that you might want to know when you're constructing or building your formula. There's a few things that might help you to do that, and I hope that these will all be useful to you as you construct those large massive formulas to help analyze your data in Excel. So let's take a look here. So here we have a formula in cell C17. It uses index and match to look at a salesperson and a month and pull the intersection of those two to give the results of that analysis. And then we have just a small formula here that'll take that and multiply it times that percentage. So a couple things. First of all, notice that if I click up into the formula bar, how Excel color codes the various references within the formula to the areas on the worksheet. C4 to N12 is the general area of the data. C15, which is in red, points down to where Chuck is down here. B4 to B12, which is in purple, is the list of sales folks here. C16 points to the month, November, in green, and C3 to N3 will point to the months of January through December. So it's all nicely color-coded to make it easy for you to point out which components of your formula are on what area of the worksheet. Also, if you click on any one of the functions that are within your formula, for example, if I click into the middle of the match formula, notice the match syntax comes up. And if I click on any of the areas like the lookup value, Excel will highlight that within my formula. The lookup array, etc., the match type, it'll tell me what that is. If I click on the index formula, it'll tell me that the array is C4 to N12, the row number is the first match formula, and the column number is the second match formula that we've built there. Also, notice that if I eliminate the last parentheses I have there, the syntax comes up for the index formula that we built. And as soon as I complete my formula, that goes away. So Excel is telling me there that I've entered the proper number of arguments and the proper number of open and closing parentheses for my formula. Two other things I want to show you. First of all, when you want to see what the cells that are precedents or that this formula is dependent upon, and also see which ones are dependent on it, you can go to the Formula tab, and in the formula auditing group are the trace precedents and trace dependents. So by clicking on cell C17 and I click trace precedents, you'll see that Excel has pointed to the two areas that this formula is dependent upon. I can remove those arrows, and if I click trace dependents, it's pointing to cell F17, which will show what cell is dependent upon that formula. The last thing I want to show you is the evaluate formula function. If you have an error in your formula and you want to find out what step that error is, or if you just want to watch the process that Excel goes through and in what order to determine the results of your formula, you can click on that cell where the formula resides and click on the evaluate formula command in the formula auditing group. An evaluate formula dialog box will pop up, and it'll contain your formula within the evaluations box. And you can see that Excel has underlined the first argument for the match function, C15, because that's the first step that's going to be evaluated. As soon as I click evaluate, you'll see that Excel has evaluated that to be Chuck, and now it's underlined that match formula. And when I click on that, it'll determine that that match formula resulted in 3. Now it's going to evaluate the C16 of the second match formula. I'll click on that. That's November. Now that match formula will result in an 11. So now we have the index formula is the next thing Excel is going to evaluate. When I click the evaluate formula, we get the results 69606. So the evaluate formula command allows you to walk through each step to either find errors or just see the process that Excel goes through in order to give you the results for your formula. And that's it. A few steps that I hope are useful to you when you're building your formula. Hopefully they're helpful to you. If you'd like to see more, hope you go to my website, excel-bytes.com, and I hope you subscribe. Happy excelling.